Yo, what is up? What's poppin'? You know it ain't no stoppin'. It is your boy, the International Sensei, and welcome to the Into the DOJO podcast, your source for all things fighting related, whether that is combat sports or fighting games. And today we are going to talk about the meta change that comes with new patches, new elements being added to the game, new characters, and things like that. The two games I'm going to be touching on are MK11 and Tekken 7. Tekken 7's been out a lot longer than MK11 has, so the meta is a lot deeper, I would say. So like certain things change it a lot, and obviously like there's certain characters that will like get a little bit overbuffed or overnerfed and things like that. But for the most part, the creators of Tekken try their best to make like a overall balanced game. I mean, obviously like the Leroy thing happened and stuff like that. Like stuff happens, but they're able to kind of fix it without killing the character off. Like Leroy's still a very good character, things like that. And they're going into season 4, and I believe Kunimitsu and a couple other characters are coming. And I'm interested to see like the different things that they add to the game and what they have already decided to add. Because I am partial to season 3. I enjoyed season 3 just from a watching standpoint. Obviously, minus like the Leroy thing. I liked Leroy, but I didn't like how many people were like kind of like hanging their hat on him because the character was so good. So I was glad he kind of got slightly toned down so that only people that were actually good with him played him, as opposed to people just trying to get free wins. But it's good. It's interesting because I think like NRS games have a similar thing, but it never really gets solved all the way, because you'll have like characters like Starfire in Injustice 2, you'll have characters like Firestorm in Injustice 2, Vanilla in Injustice 1 they had who was it? It was Superman and Vanilla, Batgirl. It's in some instances like it was just a lot of like super duper wonky stuff. MKX, you had Tremor doing his bullshit when he was added, and he was DLC too. So it's just like weird, just like game to game how like stuff changes brand to brand and things like that. And I'm curious to see how MK11 goes, because like patch wise it's been okay, but I mean like you had like the Summer of Johnny, you had the Cetrion is still doing what Cetrion does, you know what I'm saying? And it's like it's balanced, but it's not balanced. Like it's balanced from the standpoint of everything is like very simple to do, everything's very easy to do. Like game plans aren't really that diverse, so you're not going to be getting hit with anything that you necessarily don't expect for the most part. And obviously like there's like maybe some slight nuance with certain characters, but for the most part the core roster of top level characters play damn near the exact same variation to variation. There's not much difference, as opposed to I guess how like the combos get started, or some slight variation for like characters like Jackie and who else? Characters like Jackie, maybe Sonya, maybe Cassie, just on how they set up pressure. But for the most part, everyone has like similar pressure sequences, similar staggers, similar combo routes and things like that, especially like Liu Kang, Johnny, Cetrion for the most part. So it gets a little stale, but now you have like these like patches that come out, and you have like new combat packs, and this newest combat pack, which was Combat Pack 2, that has Melina, Rain, and Rambo in it. Melina, which is like probably one of the most highly requested characters in this game, are either the most highly requested or the most highly like get this fucking character out of here, just because people don't like dealing with her. They remember like the PTSD from MKX with dealing with the double roll shenanigans and stuff like that, and the crazy side pressure and all that annoying stuff. I'm interested to see how she turns out. I mean, obviously I'm not a player, I'm a caster, so I'm interested to see how she turns out. I wonder what her like kit's gonna be. I really haven't gotten a chance to see a ton of gameplay. I've just been busy with stuff, but I definitely want to check her out. And when all the characters do drop, I do want to see how the meta changes, because for the most part in the first combat pack it seemed a little like pedestrian, because I mean they had Fujin, Spawn, was it RoboCop? They had, I'm forgetting other DLCs. Who were the other DLCs? Shiva. Oh, sorry, not Shiva. But yeah, Shiva, Sindel, and like the only really character that got like a ton of play was probably Sindel. I mean, some Fujins are out there, a couple spawns here and there, But Fuji, I mean, no, excuse me, but Sindel was really one that got like a ton of play, and even like her game plan was very kind of like, I wouldn't say it was cookie cutter, but it was very like straightforward. You had your weapons, you had your staggers. I feel like the way the game is for MK11, those like super elaborate plans like Spawn has and like Fujin kind of has, they just don't seem worth it for how simple the game tends to be. You know what I mean? Like with like if you're fighting a character like Liu Kang and you're just forward-4ing all day, and you're fighting a character like Johnny where it's down 3, down 4, down 3, down 4. They're fighting a character like Cetron, she's doing her stand ones, doing her staggers, throwing those big hitboxes out there. It just doesn't make sense, especially in a game like this, because the game is very, very simple. Like it's very, very simple, very, very easy to do a lot of the stuff, and like there's not much variation player to player. Even from like the top level, you'll see like little nuance, but it's not a huge difference in like combo routes and getting max damage, because in this era they've been simplifying games a lot more. But I think, I'm not sure how long MK11 is going to be out, so maybe this will be a chance where they can kind of like get a decently balanced game with like a decent amount of nuance to it. I mean, because they just added the custom variation thing in there, which is either going to be, well, I think it's going to be a bad thing, but it's either going to be a amazing thing, or people are going to freaking hate it because they have their stuff, but they're going to be upset that this character has this, or this character has that, or that character has this stuff that nullifies what they do, or whatever. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be very, very interesting. I mean, I hope it adds something new. I feel like when you have games like Mortal Kombat and Tekken, especially in like the American scenes, those are some of like the more popular games. Obviously Street Fighter is up there too. I just don't like Street Fighter. I'm not gonna lie. Like Street Fighter 5 itself, I just can't stand it. I'm not gonna hold you. So I'm not gonna report on it. I'm not gonna look for information on it just because I just don't care. But anyway, I just find it interesting, like the nuance, like season to season, because I know like when characters like Fakaram came out in Tekken, the meta changed quite a bit. When Leroy first came out, the meta changed drastically. And sometimes it'll revert back, sometimes it'll keep the same because it won't nerf the character, and sometimes it'll change into something completely different, and then another character that you weren't worried about brings it back. Like when I think season 3 was probably like the biggest shakeup for Tekken, where they had a bunch of characters get new stuff. I know like was it Lucky Chloe got some new stuff, Jin got some new stuff, Harang, I think a bunch of characters got a bunch of new stuff. And you saw so much more diversity. It was already a diverse game, but you saw people just playing every freaking character. And I think I'm lucky to live in like the Atlanta scene, where you have so many different players. So you see so many different like diverse characters. A good amount of like the high level Tekken players that I know play like 5 and 6 characters. I mean, obviously when it's time to go to work in a tournament, they have like 1, maybe 2 characters that they go with, but they have like a good stable of characters that they know how to play and they understand how to do stuff with. Like sometimes you'll see Chop, he'll be playing Brian. You'll be seeing Panther. Shout out to Panther. He'll be playing he'll be playing his Ling, or he'll be playing King, or whoever. You'll see Dez Trash. He'll be playing his big bodies, or whoever he likes to play. So it's just interesting. I mean, the game is just very different, and then season to season they can also change drastically as well. But it gets a little weird sometimes, because like I question if you're going to be like changing something just for the sake of changing it, or if you're changing something because you feel like it's going to add something new to the game. Like the custom variation thing, going back to MK11, I question if that's just a thing where it's like, look, people keep whining and complaining, let's just throw it in there. If they don't like it after they begged for it, then screw them, because they kept asking for it and asking for it and asking for it. But who knows? We'll see, man. We'll see. I think it's gonna be entertaining. Do I think it's gonna be something that people really enjoy playing against? Absolutely not, because I know how people are. They don't like dealing with wonky ass stuff like that. They don't want to have to deal with something that messes with their game plan. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see. I'm sure there's going to be some big tournaments coming in 2021, and we'll see how both of these games shake out. But I am hopeful for the future. I'll definitely be trying to. Well, if there are more events to go out to, I'll definitely be trying to go out to more events. Just because with the things I am pursuing, I don't have time to be going to like 404 every Wednesday and like spending like 5 and 6 hours there commentating. Like I got other stuff I need to take care of. But much love to those guys. Much love to Chop. Much love to Shola, Panther, Greg, the entire Atlanta Tekken scene, the entire Atlanta MK scene. What's left of it anyway. All the other people around the nation that like to hear my voice when I'm doing my podcast, whether I'm doing streams for tournaments and things like that. Much love to all of you guys. Love one another. Be nice to each other. And please, please, please follow me on Twitter at Sensei_Global21. International_Sensei is my Instagram, and then the podcast is going to be on YouTube, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and iTunes, and it is the Enter the Dojo podcast. Thank you so much, and we must now exit the dojo. Us.